YouTube! It has been a while since I did a weekly update. I think my last one might have been week 4, and it's funny, I was so motivated. I was like, oh my gosh, it takes 28 days to make a habit, and I'm doing so great. And then I went on some trips and traveled, went out of town, and then, you know, stuff happens, and then you just fall off the wagon, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I'll get back on the wagon, and then the wagon gets further and further away, and you're just like, what happened to my habits that I was trying to cultivate? And I definitely reached a moment where I was like, well, many moments where I was like, what's even the point? Like, I don't need to meditate every day. You know, I don't need to write in my journal every day, and I don't need to do this. Like, I was asking myself, like, what's the point, you know? And there is a point. I made a commitment. I made a promise to myself that I'm going to do these habits, you know? And so I am taking a moment to check in with myself, and yes, on here. And I'm going to pull up my document that I've been working on with all of my habits of change and my New Year resolutions. I mean, are they still called New Year resolutions at this point? I think so, because I made them at the beginning of the year, right? But my goal is to keep going for like the entire year. So I have to find where I put the document. I have to remember what it's called too. Okay, maybe, let's see. Okay, I found a document. It's called New Year Resolutions for 2025. That's the funny thing. It's like it's been so long that I don't even remember where the like what it is. Okay. And you know, it's interesting. I feel like I had a document that I could compare, like the original with the not original, like with the updates of my, like one was an active document. So I don't even know what it's called. I need to label it better. Habits 2025? Original? Okay, found it. Oh, because I called it NY resolutions instead of New Year. That's confusing. Let me just put new. So then now I know. Okay, so I still have my original document. So that's great. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to check in with every single habit. I'm going to be totally upfront and honest. And I'm going to figure out a game plan moving forward. So, all right, let's okay. So meditation, I think, is probably, yeah. So my goal was to meditate twice daily. And, you know, last time I was working on meditating in the evening, but I mean, I just fell off the wagon of even meditating in the morning. It just fell out of habit, you know. The last few days I picked it up again, and you know, and it's like I set my timer for 10 minutes this morning. This morning was a little interesting, where I set my timer and then I practiced yoga, which was really great, and then I did more meditation. So it was almost like it's been a while since I've done it consistently. So when I had the chance to do it, I was like, yes, I'm like more of it. And so almost like, you know, if you haven't had chocolate chip cookies in a while, and when you have a chocolate chip cookie, you're like, I want more than just one, because you need more to satisfy yourself, which was really interesting to find meditation to have a similar effect like that. But it was sort of very familiar, very much appreciated. So I think in a way, you know, I lost the momentum. Now I'm restarting it back, and yeah, I think that's great. I don't know. I don't know what else to say there other than great. Okay, stream of consciousness. Goodness, I've fallen off and I haven't picked it back up yet. I think I find myself thinking like, yeah, what's the point of me writing my stream of consciousness? Like, because I got other things to do. So I think the biggest, what did I write? So I don't have a so I can statement for that, you know? So I think one of the biggest things when I think about it, it's like I can feel connected. I can start the day fresh. Is that going to get me to write it? So I can feel, when I say connected with myself, like connected with myself, but also just a sense of like feeling like in my body, like I don't even know, but there's a connection. Like, you know how some days you go and you're like, wow, a whole week went by and you're like, where did the time go? I feel like when I write a stream of consciousness, so I can be aware. I'm more aware, and time slows down in a way. Everything, it's almost like hygiene for the mind. So I can be hygienic with my mind. It's almost like, yeah, I would say a stream of consciousness feels like I'm washing my face. The equivalent of that, I think. So, maybe. I think, and then, you know, and in my note, I have like, oh yeah, set a timer for 10 minutes. I'm like, is there even a point to do it for 10 minutes? Or is the benefit at 15 minutes? Is it at 5 minutes? 10 minutes seems more realistic than 15 minutes. And so maybe I'll test that. Maybe I'll test that just to do it for 10 minutes without even questioning, like, is there a point? What's the point? You know, and just do it anyways, I think. And then I'll check in at the week mark. I think I'll do that. Praising myself. I feel like, yeah, and then praising myself is just really a sense of just like, am I cultivating a positive mindset? And I feel like, yeah, I think there are moments throughout my day, like for instance, today I was really, you know, I was going for a walk and I'm just like, yeah, I'm high on life. I'm really grateful. And so I think that sometimes, yeah, it depends. But definitely doing it in the morning, the first thing in the morning is great. I think I find myself in, like, I could do it first thing in the morning. It's almost like I like doing it when I'm outside and moving. There's a sense of, it feels more significant that way. So maybe I'll put a note, because sometimes when I write when I wake up, I don't necessarily want to do it. So maybe put while out walking. Walking feels more significant or meaningful. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. The next one. Organization. Putting things in their homes, organized twice daily for 15 minutes. Yeah, upon waking up or before I leave the house or before going to bed. You know, I would say, yeah, I'd say in the morning is pretty consistent. I think in the evening, or especially before going to bed, that it's just, it's still challenging. I wouldn't say that practice is like solidified. So, and am I motivated for that, to change that? I don't know if it really cuts down on too much time, because as soon as I wake up, I'm just like in organizing mode. It's not like a huge burden or a hassle. So it takes a lot of effort to do before I need to go to bed, you know? But I'd say, yeah, I think, I don't know, making my bed before, like right when I wake up makes me so happy, right? It doesn't necessarily make me happy to organize my things on my desk before I go to bed. Whereas it's like, and the reason why it makes me happy is because then when I come back, like the bed is an anchor of just like, oh yeah, everything's like, it just has a different feel when you walk into the room after you've come home from work or just come home from something, you're just like, oh yeah, my bed's made, even if things are a little bit in disarray. But I wonder if I wake up, right, I'm already in the bed, so it's in disarray, but like when I look at the rest of my room, if waking up to that might feel more peaceful. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Okay. Ooh, practice an abundant mindset every day. I had forgotten about that one. Okay. I wrote cultivate abundance of time, cultivate abundance of opportunity, and abundance of dance. I definitely danced today. You know, it hasn't crossed my mind really, this idea of an abundant mindset, so I'll have to tinker around with it a little bit more. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like it's moments of there's a scarcity and then shifting into recognizing and being aware, oh, okay, there's scarcity going on. Let's shift to maybe not abundance right away, but instead of scarcity, something opposite of scarcity. Well, then abundance. I didn't catch myself having a scarcity mindset today and recently, so perhaps it hasn't really come up to apply the abundant mindset daily. However, even if not being in a scarcity mindset and just cultivating abundant mindset just right off the bat could be really fun and really cool. And I have a note of spend 1 minute during 5-minute evening meditation, feeling abundance and visualizing it. You know what's funny? And I'm reading some like 5 minutes, like only 5 minutes, that's nothing. So I could totally do this. I should totally do it, right? But why don't I do it? So and it's sort of like, well, is there a point to do it? What's the benefit? You know? And maybe this goes back to not questioning, like as the week is happening, just doing it anyways. Because I've already decided on these resolutions, right? And so I'm reevaluating them right now. And yeah, it's essentially to raise my consciousness, to cultivate a powerful mindset, and to feel good, you know, higher vibration, everything. Yeah, so, but if I already feel that, then I don't necessarily need the second meditation, right? Or it's just about creating habits or honoring my New Year resolution. Okay, I don't know. All right, the next one is sleep. Okay, 8 hours a day. Yeah, that has not been happening. I just have not been keeping, so my calendar up there, I have not been keeping track at all. I fell off the wagon, and it's like I haven't really looked at it, so it'll be good to look at it again and start it again. It feels like so much effort to do this thing that the more and more time that I haven't done it, it's like it gets harder and harder, versus when I first fell off the wagon, it was like, oh, okay, like I just fell off, it's fine, you know, I'll get back on eventually, like pretty soon. But then it just, more and more time passed after I'd fallen, that I'm like, well, how do you get back on the wagon? I've fallen. Yeah. And yes. I have no idea. Okay. But my goal is still to sleep by 11 p.m. Let's see, what time is it now? Okay, it's 10 something. So that means right about now is when I should be winding down. Yeah. Okay. All right. The next one. Read palm reading book 15 minutes daily right before bed. Well, I haven't been reading that book, but I've been listening to an audiobook of that. So that's been really great. And I just finished it today. And so I have been reading before I go to bed, but it's just been a top, like different kinds of books. So that habit has been pretty instilled. And so when I think about why I made that resolution, it wasn't necessarily to read more, even though that's always a goal, but the specific reason is specifically the topic of palm reading, because I'm really interested in it, I'm really passionate about it. And so I don't think that it matters whether or not that I'm actually reading versus listening to a book, as long as I'm spending 15 minutes or some time throughout my day adding to my knowledge of that, you know? So I checked off that box for today, but it doesn't mean, you know, the last couple days I've been doing it. So I'm thinking, you know, if I'm gonna make that a habit sustainable, I don't know, maybe even just like trying to remember things and like from my memory and writing down notes from that. Like for instance, I was looking up the different like mounts on the finger, not the fingers, the palms of the hand. Oh, that was so interesting. And so I was looking at pictures as I was listening to the audiobook, and it's as I'm listening or when I first learn about something, I'm just like, I'm not gonna remember this. Like this is what is this? But over time, I'm like, I'm recognizing, oh, I am getting some things that I didn't get before. So yeah, I see a little bit of progress. And so it gives me a little bit of encouragement to keep going, even if in the moment doesn't necessarily feel like that. Okay. Then the last one, to write meaningful moments of the day, at least 3 most meaningful, and then for 10 minutes, you know? And I think that's a good reminder, at just 3, right? And doing it for only 10 minutes, because I'll find myself writing all of the meaningful moments of the entire day. And then it's like, whoa, that took like 20 minutes. And so, and it's interesting when I do it, there's almost a sense of if I start it and let's say I write 3, and then I'm like, but wait, what about all these other things that happened? These were meaningful too. I find myself having to be thorough. And so perhaps just reminding myself, I only need to write 3, because yeah, the day goes by and you're like, you don't have a recording of the day, but it was meaningful. So yeah, I would say that I haven't been consistent with. It's just sort of been here and there, but I like when I write at least once a day. So it could be the stream of consciousness, or it could be the meaningful moments. And if I had to pick one, you know, I think the key for me is writing before I go to bed. So at the end of the day. So whether it be a stream of consciousness or meaningful moments, I think that is almost moot. I think that just writing before I go to bed is just meaningful, and I want that. So I'll make a note of that right before bed. At least 15 minutes before bed. And then I could put, let's see, I'm just gonna put most meaningful moments. I'm not gonna put the number. And then I will, and I put, I'm changing to 10 minutes. We'll try that. Okay, no, back to 15. Because that's not realistic. I'm not gonna write for only 10 minutes. And then I think I'm gonna make a note of stream of consciousness, because that could be fun to write it before I go to bed. You know, like a cleansing before you go to bed too. Yeah, and then my so I can statement for that is, so I can feel gratitude, take a moment for the beautiful day I had, and cultivate more meaning in my life. So, oh, so great. It's so fun to read this. Okay, I'm gonna go back and look through this again. Yeah, I think the biggest question that I would ask myself is, okay, how am I gonna maintain consistency this next week, moving forward? I would say, I think something that will help me is rewriting them by hand. Like, it's great that I have this document, But the thing is, it's in my laptop. I don't physically see it with my eyes. Yes, I have this calendar and I can technically write it, but I think visually reading, like, I'm gonna make 1-line blurbs for each thing, and I think that will be, and write it out so I can see it. And then I really like boxes where I can check, so I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna have a box and then check it off. I could even make it for each day, which is essentially what this is, right? I don't know, maybe the checkboxing will be a little different, because this I'm writing the letters and I'm making a tic-tac-toe thing. So the checkbox could be different, but it could be a fun game too. I really wonder if it's gonna feel any different, but how will I know unless I actually test it out, right? So that's where we're at. All right, okay. I think this is great. There's gonna be a lot of boxes to check if I actually do this. Like, actually put all the things, because I'll do stream of consciousness, meditate once in the morning, once at night is another box, praising myself, the organization twice a day, that's 6 boxes already, abundant mindset, sleeping 8 hours, that's gonna be the hardest one, studying palm reading, and then writing meaningful moments before bed. So that's 10 boxes. Yeah, I think I can do it. All right. Well, this was really fun, acknowledging that I fell off the wagon and I'm gonna get back on. I hope that if you made it to the end of this video, that if there is a habit out there that you're trying to change, that you feel encouraged by me sharing, and that, you know, if you make a change, if you try something, you know, it takes effort, right? It takes practice and discipline, and I think it's never too late. I think that we can always, I don't know, we can always grow from things. So thanks for watching. Bye. Give this video a like.